Kids listen more than we think. So let's talk about vaping. Teens say their parents are the biggest influence in their lives. But we all know how challenging it can feel to start conversations about certain hot topics, or frankly, to even keep track of the latest trends, slang, and concerns we as parents and caregivers need on our radar. Even if they're in elementary school, there's a good chance our kids have been exposed to vaping, e-cigarettes, either on social media, on TV, in the movies, at school, or through friends. Kids say they vape out of curiosity, a desire to fit in, and to reduce stress. So let's talk about all of these. Did you know Canada has some of the highest teen vaping rates in the world? In Ontario, rates of past year vaping increased with grade level. So, how did we get here? With cigarette smoking rates in Canada at the lowest in almost 20 years, the tobacco industry needed to reinvent itself. E-cigarettes were the perfect product for a few reasons, the biggest of which is that they allow the tobacco industry to keep their profits soaring by addicting people to nicotine. We know the tobacco industry has a well-documented history of lying about the addictiveness and health effects of their products. They spend billions of dollars each year marketing their products to youth and other vulnerable people, and they use the same marketing tactics as they use with cigarettes, like celebrity endorsements, lifestyle advertising, and packaging. Their marketing is designed to make people believe their products are safe, fun, helpful, and even a normal part of life. This is one reason many people believe vaping is harmless, but it's not. E-cigarettes, commonly referred to as vapes, are electronic devices that heat an e-liquid which create vapor inhaled by the user. The common myth is this vapor is just harmless water vapor. But in reality, the main ingredients in e-liquid are vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, chemical flavorings, and nicotine, none of which belong in your lungs. The thousands of available e-liquid flavors that give them a sweet smell and taste make them appealing to users of all ages, including our kids. In fact, over 90% of youth who vape started with one that was flavored. Health effects caused by propylene glycol include ear, eye, and throat irritation, dry mouth, and excessive thirst, which can lead to tooth decay and severe gum infections. But these effects are just the tip of the iceberg. When e-liquid is heated, other chemicals are produced, like formaldehyde, that is known to cause cancer. We know that vaping damages the lungs. It also increases the risk of developing a chronic cough and bronchitis and worsens asthma. Vaping nicotine also increases blood pressure. When this happens repeatedly, it increases the chance of having a heart attack. And because we are still learning about vaping, the list of health effects is expected to grow over time. One of the main ingredients in e-liquid is nicotine, which is a highly addictive drug. The developing teenage brain becomes addicted to nicotine more quickly and with less exposure compared to adults. Nicotine is an addiction that is extremely hard to quit. Nicotine changes the way the teenage brain develops. It affects memory and concentration, reduces impulse control, and can sometimes cause behavioral problems. People may think vaping helps get rid of stress, anxiety, and depression, but it doesn't. Once the brain is addicted to nicotine, a person will experience uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms whenever nicotine isn't being used. These feelings can be interpreted as feeling low, being anxious, or even being depressed. Vaping nicotine repeatedly will make these symptoms go away for a while, making the person think vaping is helping their mental health symptoms when all it's really doing is satisfying their nicotine addiction. This results in getting caught up in a nasty cycle where they vape to feel better, but the more they vape, the worse they feel. Nicotine also causes the body to release adrenaline and cortisol, the same hormones released when someone is stressed. So each time a person vapes, their body responds the way it does when it's stressed or anxious. The effects of stress hormones for a short time period are okay, but if these hormones are released every time a person vapes, several times a day, several times an hour, the same health problems that come from unmanaged stress can happen to someone who vapes. Things like depression or low mood, headaches, problems with falling asleep or staying asleep, change in appetite, and problems with memory and concentration. The truth is, nicotine can make feelings of stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression worse. When our kids try vaping, they don't realize they could be signing up for a lifetime of nicotine addiction. We know that youth who vape are 3 to 4 times more likely to smoke cigarettes and more likely to try and become addicted to other drugs. The amount of nicotine absorbed when vaping varies depending on the user and the device. In Canada, the highest nicotine concentration a vape can legally contain is 20 milligrams/milliliters. This means a 2 milliliter vaping device containing e-liquid with 20 milligrams/milliliters of nicotine is equivalent to smoking up to 40 cigarettes. Kids are being exposed to so much nicotine with some of these devices that they are overdosing and getting sick from nicotine poisoning. To help protect our community members and especially our kids from exposure to these products, several laws have been created. Provincially, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act 2017 makes it illegal to smoke tobacco or vape in public areas within 20 meters of school property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Breaking this law could result in a fine of $305. Under this act, it is also illegal to supply tobacco products, e-cigarettes, or e-liquid to anyone under 19 years of age. This includes underage friends who are sharing or parents giving products to their kids. It is also illegal to privately sell these products, even to a friend. Breaking these laws could result in a fine starting at $490. Most young people report getting their vapes from social sources such as friends or family. So by now you may be thinking, this is all very well and good, but what the heck do I do about it? Even though we may at times feel like we're swimming upstream against social and media influences, or like our kids don't digest much of what we say, we have an important role to play in helping them make decisions about their health. This includes choices about vaping. As I mentioned at the start, teens say their parents are the biggest influence in their lives. And so it is important for us as parents and other caring adults to talk early and often with our kids about vaping. We understand that starting these types of conversations can feel awkward or intimidating, but I do have some suggestions to help you get started. First, approach these conversations with curiosity to create a safe space and keep lines of communication open, no matter the past and future decisions made about using substances like vaping. It can also be helpful to look for natural opportunities for conversation, like when you see someone vape on social media or in a movie. My personal favorite is finding an opportunity during car rides. Never are my children chattier than when direct eye contact is avoidable as we are looking out our windows while talking. I've even been known to circle the block a few times to keep a good conversation going. Know that you don't have to be an expert or have all the answers. In fact, it's a good thing to ask questions and listen more than you talk. This conversation isn't one and done, but rather one that can be revisited over time, including circling back after looking into info you may not know initially. Asking questions or checking on your child's feelings and stress level will give you an opportunity to make sure your child knows vaping doesn't help anxiety, stress, or depression, but instead can make these feelings worse. You may find it helpful to share how you handle stressful situations. Brainstorm ways you can cope together, like talking to someone you trust. And no, it doesn't have to be a parent. Listening to music, getting up and moving, journal or practicing mindfulness, getting enough sleep, or unplugging from screens, at least a little more often, are all great ways to deal with stress. The important thing is they find a way that works for them. The reality is our kids will encounter situations where they will feel pressure to make a choice, such as using or trying a substance like vapes. One of the best ways to prepare our kids for this is to have them practice how they will handle these situations. Talk to them about what they're going to say. Having a well-practiced response will make them feel confident to respond in a way that feels right for them in the moment. Handling these situations doesn't always equal just saying no. While some kids do flat out refuse, others are more comfortable delaying giving an answer, suggesting a different activity, making a joke, asking questions, or walking away. Signs to be aware of that might signal your child is vaping include bloodshot eyes, smelling fruit, sweet smells, noticing unfamiliar USB drives or battery chargers, seeing small or large clouds of white aerosol, appearing to be concealing something up in a shirt sleeve, raising a shirt up over the mouth or face. If you spot any of these signs or your child tells you they are vaping, try not to panic. Rest assured there is support available. Talk to your healthcare provider. Visit notanexperiment.ca quit page for youth-friendly quit resources and apps. Are your heads spinning yet? I totally understand if they are. I've shared a lot of information. More than anything, I hope you leave here today feeling more comfortable about this topic and talking to your children about it. But there is good news. You don't have to commit what I've said to memory today. All of the information, including a parent resource with tips for talking, quit support, and alternative coping strategies, can be found at notanexperiment.ca. Not an Experiment is a program that aims to reduce harms from vaping among youth in grades 7 through 12. In addition to supporting schools and reaching students with the program directly, the program's website also offers information to youth as well as parents and caregivers, so you have easy access to practical information. The industry is constantly trying to reinvent themselves to addict our kids to nicotine. Share your knowledge, spread the word. Stay informed, talk to your kids, and remember, kids listen more than you think.